with me. I'm not really asking. We'll get away to a place where we don't know. About to see the world in action, what we can be. Life with no distractions. We'll get away. This is what we waited for. Take my hand, we'll make it somehow. We can't miss out. I'm done living life with the lights out. Die with my own doubts. Be free with me. Let's be free with me.
Hello, I'm Janna, and welcome to the Crafty Corner. This is the Card Maker Success Summit Q&A live session. I am so excited to be here, and we're going to be talking about the card that I made for the summit. For the summit, I got a chance to make this adorable bunny rabbit from Spring Shadows and all of these lovely flowers. Now, the flowers are pretty cool because, one, they've got glitter on them, and this is the classic distress glitter rock candy. Love that. And it's beautiful going over distress watercolor pencils. So for this card, I used distress watercolor pencils and colored directly on the stamp, gave it a little spritz with water, and then we get this lovely watercolor effect. Once they're dry, we can add a little bit of a glue, whether it is collage medium for a slightly more matte look, or some glossy accents, then add a sprinkling of magic with distress glitter for that sparkling look. And of course, in the background, I had to pull in one of these Sizzix brickwork folders. Now, the brickwork folders are pretty cool. They come in 3 different sizes. There's a mini, a standard 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, and more recently, we've had the larger one added to the collection. Having different scale choices can give us different options in our card making endeavors. And I love having the different sizes because it helps you play with perspective when working on your cards. To finish off the card, I matted with some of the Ideology metallic craft stock, and this is one of the very lovely minty greens, and that just gave it a little bit of added shine. For a little bit of bonus detail on the brick, I went over with a dry brush and we did some little splatters of distressed paint to give our brick wall a bit of a more worn look. I hope that you've had a chance to play and try out this tutorial. It's been lots of fun making, and I think that you too will enjoy some spring shadows. Oh, lovely. We have questions. If you had to pick one product from the Distress lineup, oxide sprays, spritz, etc., to use exclusively for the rest of your life, what would it be and why? Okay, super easy. It would have to be Distress inks. Distress inks, I think, are some of the most versatile products from the Ranger Tim Holtz line. One, you can stamp with them. Two, if you smush them, you can make amazing backdrops with all sorts of multi-dimensional layers. And you can also watercolor with them. So it would hit a lot of the different things that I love about distress without losing too much. But I might miss my shine and sparkle just a little bit. Great question. Thank you. Carolyn Johnson says, if you don't have the paint, what else could you use? If you don't have the paint, I would say try smudging out some distress crayon. You could smudge using a brush and a tiny spritz of water to make the crayon a little bit more malleable and brush over the card lightly with a brush. It could be a paintbrush, it could be one of the stiffer bristle brushes, or it could be one of the Tim Holtz brushes. Love these. Super flexible. And if you don't want flexible, just make the collar a little shorter and your brush stiffens right up. So distress crayon would be my alternative to distress paint. Thank you. Andrea says, "Love your card. I've ordered the bunny. That set is fabulous." Yeah, Andrea, it certainly is. The bunny is absolutely adorable, and the flowers are just so fun to play with. And it's not just a spring thing. If you change the coloring of the flowers up, you could have a lovely fall bouquet, or you could even go Christmas themed and add a little floral border to a card. Ellen says, "I've never used the crayon. Such a cool concept and versatile." That's exactly why I do love distress products. They are versatile and there's so many different ways to use them. And best yet, they're all water soluble. So they'll do really cool things like wick and, of course, distress. Car, Carl? Carl, could you use the reinkers? Yeah, absolutely. Reinkers could be a wonderful thing. Free inkers, if you dry brush that onto the brick background, then you could probably get a pretty cool look. It won't be the same as the paint or the crayon because it's a more concentrated color, but if you go pretty lightly or choose a really light color like speckled egg, you might be able to get some really cool effects. Great idea. Andrea, I was intending the question to be difficult. Why do you like Distress ink specifically over oxides? I like the inks because they're really bright and vibrant, and you can also thin them out so you can get pastel colors as well. The oxides, once you add water to them, they're going to oxidize no matter how lightly you go. So I don't find that they're as versatile as the original Distress inks. However, I can't live without my oxides because I love adding that little bit of hazy chalkiness in backgrounds, and I find that it adds some really complex layers to card making. Chris, question: which Tim Holtz watercolor pencil set number is your most used? I don't know. They all get an awful lot of love and use, so I don't really think I have a favorite set. I guess the one color I couldn't live without in the distressed watercolor pencils would be Wilted Violet, so whichever set Wilted Violet is the set I probably couldn't live without. That's definitely one of my go-to colors. Thank you for the question. For that background, like the brick, is there a fence version that would work? Um, I haven't seen any fences by Sizzix, but you could definitely substitute that out with a wood grain. And of course, whenever you're making a card, even if you just like the bunny rabbit and the floral idea, bring in other backgrounds or embossing folders from different companies. Just because the maker uses one specific background doesn't mean that you can't swap them up. Swapping things up could give you a whole new card. And I bet a fence in the background would look pretty darn cute. Susan, question: could you use watercolors or watercolor crayons or alcohol inks? Um, if you embossed your background with Yupo paper, you definitely could apply alcohol inks. The thing with alcohol inks is that they play best on a slick surface. Paper is very porous, so it would sink in, you wouldn't get any movement. Um, so yes to the alcohol ink if you change your substrate. Watercolors in general, yes. Again, if you dry brush pretty lightly, pretty much any watercolor, if you're dry brushing, should give a similar effect. So definitely worth a try. Different mediums are going to give you different results, but dry brushing essentially is dry brushing. So while I'm thinking about it, if you're, oh, here we go. Any fun events coming up? Um, I do have an Easter making series. It's going to be called Hippity Hoppity, and that's going to be launching 4 days before Easter. So, over on YouTube, which is the Crafty Corner with Janna K, I do like to do little segments of tutorials. But every Friday, I do have videos being uploaded. There was a brand new one that just dropped today, which was a fun mixed media video featuring the Stampers Anonymous stamp set CMS 002. It is my current goal to be able to create and make a video with every single stamp set that Tim has come out with. There's 500 of them. It's going to take a while. So I'm aiming to do at least 1 or 2 a month for the foreseeable future. Just a little sneak peek if you haven't seen the video. This is one of the things that I made with CMS 002. The main thing that I want to feature is those really cool goggles and the sentiment which says everything happens for a reason. It's just a matter of moving your point of view around until you see it. I thought that was a really good quote. And the glasses just, it brought it together. So that would be what's coming up in the future for the Crafty Corner. Question from Mimi. What is your favorite tool? Well, I guess it depends on what your definition of tool is. But I would have to say probably my go-to tool in the craft room. There's two really. I can't live without either of these. One, my distress sprayer. I use this to splatter everything, steal water from it, to do watercoloring. And of course, I cannot live without my Ranger heat gun. That would be quite disastrous not having that in the studio. This thing has seen me through an awful lot. It's a workhorse. I've dropped it, clunked it, and it's pretty near indestructible, which is nice. So those would be the tools that I can't live without in the craft room. I see a lot of distress items behind you. What are some of your favorite storage tips? Okay, storage. Well, great question. I'm glad you asked. For convenience, I love putting things on a Lazy Susan. Helps me find things at a glance, and best yet, it spins, so super easy to find all the colors when I need them. For dyes, I like to keep them in plastic fridge bins, and I have little black dividers that I've labeled that help me figure out which things are where. Now, if you are a fan of having all reinkers for whatever product, I can highly recommend using nail polish wall shelves. They're little acrylic troughs and they fit a bottle of nail polish, but they are the perfect size for reinkers. So I have about 12 of them on the wall behind me that complete my collection. Thinking about other storage, I also love pencil holders from Amazon. There are some that have lots of cubbies in them, and I found that it works beautifully for putting distress crayons and distress pencils in them. That way I can color categorize and everything is there at a glance. Wonderful question. I think we all love storage. What is your newest item? Hmm. Newest item. Well, the items. Tim recently released the palette paper collection. I am so excited about this because there's going to be a release of this about 4 times within the year, and we get 3 beautiful color collections each time. This is the most recent one. We got pink, orange, and red for the very first palette release. This is super cool because Tim originally released all of these same patterns on fabric through Free Spirits. Yes, I do so. Yes, I've got a good collection of that fabric, but a lot of us were very much wanting the fabric in paper because paper, if you're a paper crafter, well, this is where it's at. So super excited about using those, and they come in a 12 by 12 pad, and we also got a lovely little 6 by 6. So lots to look forward to this year as the rest of the collection gets dropped. Also, tomorrow, if you haven't had a chance, there's going to be a Stampers Anonymous release. It's going to be redoing some of the old sets from the plain white background to the transparent backgrounds. They're upgrading some of the sets, and there may even be a few new things. I've seen a few teasers out on the world of Instagram. So, Stampers Anonymous tomorrow, EST at 11 a.m. Question from Chris. Is there any technique you haven't tried that you would like to? That's a great question. I'm trying to think. There is a technique I'm trying to remember the name of it. It has to do with embossing powder. You put embossing powder on your substrate, and then there's something with an iron. You iron it off, and it's supposed to create a really cool look. I can't remember what it's called. I know that Jennifer McGuire teaches it. I just need to track down the video. I'm very curious about that one. Great question. Tammy, do you post links to the items you use for storage? Um, no, I typically don't. I'm not sponsored for items. It's a bit of a process, but I can try to drop a few on my blog under the VIP video. I think that's going to be the easiest place for me to drop them. Um, but pretty much everything can be found on Amazon. This I just typed in three-tiered Lazy Susan. The other things, it was fridge bins. Dimensions, it needs to be at least 8 by 8 to fit the stamp sets. And 6 by 12 is ideal for the die sets by Sizzix. And for the nail polish trays in the background, if you just type in nail polish acrylic trays, you're going to get a lot of different results. So general searches on Amazon will yield the best results for you. I'm not even sure that the ones that I have still exist. I got these at least 3 years ago. But thank you so much for asking. Do you work with Ranger? No. Oh my word, that would be a dream come true. That would be absolutely amazing. But sadly, no. I just enjoy the projects. Ava, do you do any hot foiling? And if so, which foiling system do you use? Trying to remember if hot foiling is with the plates, or just the foil. I do some foiling. I like the Mink system. That's the one where you use toner and then run your foil through. I also have worked with some of the Gina K foils. Those are beautiful, the deco foils. And there's also a really neat paste that you can push through stencils and then run through a heat sealer, or not heat sealer, well, the Mink. I mostly use the Mink for that. It's a good question. I haven't foiled in so long. I honestly forget. It's something I have. It's very beautiful, but I don't pull it out as often as I should because it takes so much time to set up, especially if I'm going for the Mink system. The ink that you need for that, one, it's discontinued, and two, it's an absolute pain for cleanup. But foil, I do love it. So deco foil and Mink. Fridge bins with straight sides are best, right? Yes, absolutely. The straight sides are the ones that I go for. The tapered ones are kind of a pain. I've tried, but it's not a good fit for the Sizzix dies or the stamps for that matter. Good question. I have two of those Ranger heat tools in case one breaks. I love them because they are quiet. Absolutely. I love that as well. I can almost get away with having the volume on a regular level when doing videos and using the Ranger heat tool. It is a great tool. And yeah, you know what? Me too. I've got an extra one in storage in case it breaks, because there's nothing worse than having your favorite tool break mid video, mid project. So backups are good. Where did you get the nail polish holders? Those are from Amazon. Just type in acrylic nail polish holder and you're going to find lots and lots of options. Andrea, Jana, you're so much fun. I love your personality and, of course, your crafting style. Oh, thank you so much. I really enjoy these little chat sessions. It's so nice to get to talk to fellow crafters, and I really do enjoy answering the questions. And of course, I can't resist talking about all things Tim Holtz. Thank you so much. Joyce, how do you store your ink cubes? The ink cubes go in the tins. I love the tins and I have gotten mine worked out into sets. I have a pastel set, a bold set, and my most often reached for ones, and the others are sorted by color family. So the tins are wonderful and they're stackable, and I can fit the entire set of distress inks in my backpack using the mini cubes, and that's really, really good if I happen to go on vacation. Then I get to bring at least part of my crafting studio with me. Deb, when you use a brush for any project, how do you clean them? Here's the secret. I don't. Most of the brushes that I have are dedicated to a specific color or to a specific product. I'm looking for the first brush that I pulled. This one, I have a whole set of these. This one in particular is dedicated to Distress Crayon Walnut Stain. That is my favorite color for accenting with. And I do keep separate sets of brushes for the classic Distress inks and a second set for the Distress Oxide because, as you know, you can't cross over with oxide to ink. The oxide has particles in it. It's a pigment, and that will drop into your dye-based ink and it will ruin your ink pads. Dye to pigment, okay. Pigment to dye, not okay. So, brushes, love them, lots of them. Keep your pigments and dyes separate. Thank you so much for joining me here today at the Crafty Corner. It has been wonderful getting to chat with all of you. If you're looking for more crafty fun, come on over and join me at the Crafty Corner with Jana on YouTube. And for daily crafty fun, you can find me on Instagram at the Crafty Corner with Jana_K. Thank you so much for joining me here today at the Crafty Corner. And until next time, happy crafting.